And good afternoon. It is Friday, and that means it's time for our regular Lunch and Learn. And I think this will be the final installment of You Asked and We Answer. And we have a couple of questions today on hormones, on women's hormones. And so, just to kind of set the stage for a little bit, we do, all of us, men and women, lose hormones as we get older. Now, why is that? I think there are a lot of different factors in there. One, for women, your ovaries only have so many eggs, which is why your fertility drops as you get older. As you get older, you quit producing your estrogen and your progesterone and your testosterone. Men have testosterone issues as well. And so part of it is just age related. I think a corresponding factor could be liver congestion because your liver is your largest filter in your body. And so after you have lived about 50 years, especially if you eat the standard American diet, SAD, standard American diet, the SAD diet, then you have a lot of toxicity in your body. And so with a liver, your liver makes cholesterol. Every cell in your body needs cholesterol. Your brain needs cholesterol. So if you are not decongesting your liver regularly, all right, especially after 50. We do it every year after 50. So if you're not doing that, then your liver is congested with toxic material and it may not be functioning at its optimum level with making the hormones. You've got cholesterol, which is a 28 atom molecule. From that cholesterol, different parts are cleaved and joined together, and that makes our different hormones. So a lot of people don't know that if you're on a statin drug and you're lowering your cholesterol, you may be introducing some problems with your other hormones, okay? And so broad picture, your liver is what you need to maintain in order to have the appropriate hormones. Now I'm going to show you a photo here. I'm going to get it close. I know it's reversed, but you have up here, it says adrenal glands, right? From the adrenal glands, you come down and you've got this hormone called pregnenolone, right? Pregnenolone is supposed to go this way over here to your sex hormones, your estrogen, your progesterone, and your testosterone. However, a lot of times it goes right here to cortisol. And so one of the questions that we had is, what do you do about cortisol? Now, there was not a lot of information what this particular person's problem is. So I'm going to have to imagine that I can read her mind. Okay, so if I get it wrong, you're going to have to give me grace. There is something called the pregnenolone steal. Okay, and what happens, just like you see here, your pregnenolone is here. It should go down here to make all your sex hormones, but it is stolen over here because of stress, and it makes your cortisol. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, okay? When you are stressed, your adrenals pump more and more and more stress hormones. Cortisol is a stress hormone. When you are under that, constant stress, and who's not under stress these days, then we can have what's called the pregnenolone steal. Pregnenolone, instead of being cleaved this way to make your sex hormones, it is cleaved this way to make your stress hormones. Now we do have, I didn't think to bring it in today, but we do have a little kit about like this, and you can take 4 samples of your saliva in a day. You do it in the morning when you get up with no food before you eat anything. You do it at lunch, you do it at dinner, and then I think you do it at bedtime. You do it 4 times. And they give you little test tubes, and you spit at it, and you label it, and you send it off to the lab. The lab tests your particular cortisol levels to see if you are in optimum range or if you are out. Everybody that we've ever tested is out. So I'm just going to say that right there. If your cortisol is out, that means you probably are suffering the pregnenolone steal. And if you're suffering the pregnenolone steal, then you're not going to have regular hormones, and that's going to be a problem. So managing chronic stress is something that absolutely needs to happen. So How do you know if you have high cortisol? Well, you're going to have low sex drive, low libido. You may have hot flashes, all right? You may have insomnia. You may have irritability. You may have fatigue. You may have vaginal dryness, and you may have depression. So the pregnenolone steal can affect a lot of your life if you are a woman. And it's really, really easy to resolve this. One of the things that you need to do is to remove all the stress out of your life. I know, easier said than done. But the other thing that you can do is you can learn to manage your stress. So how do we manage stress? There are a lot of things you can do. You can journal, get it out. You can do tapping, which is emotional freedom technique. There's all kinds of YouTube videos on that so that you can learn how to do that. You also can just like go into an empty space somewhere and just yell and get rid of all the anxiety. That's something that some people do, okay? But what we want to do is manage that stress. You might need to do boundaries in your life. You may need to disassociate and disconnect from people that always bring trauma in your life, because if you do not manage the stress, then your body is not going to make the enzymes that you need to produce the other hormones. Now, on this little sheet, you can see that you've got DHEA here, and then you've got progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone down here, right? So if you're not getting rid of the stress and managing your stress, then your body is not going to make the enzymes that it needs in order to produce those other hormones. So DHEA and your estrogens will not be synthesized, and when they're not, then you're just not going to get any better. So that's something that you need to do. Your body will continue to produce the cortisol in relation to the stress. Now, I personally carve out a lot of time for stress relief. I read for pleasure. I also read because that's my job, right? And so I read. I also journal. I also meditate. I pray. I cut out toxic people in my life. So if you want to be my friend, you can't bring drama to the table every day that I meet with you, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. Now, everybody does have drama. Everybody does have trauma from time to time. Yes, everybody is going to do that. However, you've got to have coping skills so that you're not that person that is the traumatized person that brings that drama to every situation. If you are that person, I definitely want you to get some help, because I'm just going to tell you a secret. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes to be around that, and it's absolutely draining. And so I'm just telling you, if you need somebody to give you permission to cut toxic people out of your life, then that's what we want to do. We want to cut toxic people out of our life. So on the hormones, right? If you are menopausal and if you are stressed, then you're going to have a secondary situation where you're going to be gaining weight, or you will have the inability to lose weight, even though you eat a healthy diet and you exercise regularly. Now, why is that? That is because your body, because of the stress, has gone into a metabolic challenge. So we know, and we joke about, oh, I'm heavy because I have slow metabolism, or she can eat anything that she likes because she's got a fast metabolism and nothing ever bothers her. Well, in part, that is true. We all have metabolic processes in our body. Now, we have this, we've done videos on this. This is Meta, Age Lock Meta, which is a supplement. It's a beautiful supplement. I have purple all over, right? I love purple. Well, this little supplement is purple. It's a little gel cap. You can see just how tiny it is. You do 4 of these every day, and what does that do? That resets your metabolism. Now, what does that mean exactly? Your metabolism is the cell cycle, the work cycle of the cell. So if something is off, if you're off nutritionally, if you're off because of stress, if you're off because you've got cholesterol issues, if you've got high blood pressure issues, if you've got blood sugar issues, if you've got hormonal issues, right? That cortisol, if you've got any of those issues, that's going to change your metabolism. And so Do these pills correct any of that? No, they don't correct any of that. What they do is they correct you at the cellular level so that your body can do what it needs to do in the right way. So if you're of a certain age, you're postmenopausal, and you've got some of these issues, you find it difficult to lose weight and that kind of thing. I'll just tell you, when I turned 50, don't ask me what happened, but I turned 50 and I got on the scale and I was horrified at my number. Now, I'm a big girl, I'm tall, and my grandmother was from Russia, and so I'm kind of husky here. And so I got on the scale and I was absolutely horrified. I went to my medical doctor and I said, "You need to give me something because I'm too fat." And he just laughed. He said, "Well, you just turned 50. You're going to gain 10 pounds every decade for the rest of your life." And I looked at him like he had lost his mind. And I came home and I did research and I lost 40 pounds. And I did it in a healthy way. And most of it I have kept off. This year I turned 65. Okay. So for 15 years, I kept most of that weight off. January, I decided I'm a little too fluffy. I need to do some things. And so what did I do? I started doing intermittent fasting and being very, very mindful of what I've eaten. And I am down now about 15 pounds from January, which is a little bit short of the goal that I had set for myself, but I'm very happy that I was able to do that. I'm 65. I'm not doing any diet aids. I'm not doing any medication. I am being mindful and I'm doing intermittent fasting. So when your doctor will tell you that, oh, well, you're 50 now, so you're going to gain 10 pounds per decade, you can say, well, it doesn't have to be that way, and I just need to find what works for myself. Now, when we go back to the liver, because your liver synthesizes all of your hormones, right? If your liver is congested, as a man, you're going to have that beer belly. As a woman, you're going to have the muffin top, okay? So if you look at your body and you've got the love handles and you're a girl, you know that you've got liver congestion, and so you just need to detox the liver and things will shift. Most of the time, carrying excess weight is not a food issue. It's not a genetic issue. It is a toxicity issue. And so what that means is you're at the age that you are, you've not decongested the liver, or you've not decongested the liver properly. And so the body, because the body is a survival organism, it shunts all the toxicity that we inhale, we absorb through the skin, we ingest through our food and water. The body takes all those particles and pushes them into our fat cells, so we get fatter and fatter and fatter. That is a survival mechanism of the body. Now, do we like that? No, we don't like that. Why don't we like that? Because when we get overweight, it's just a few more pounds until we're obese. And then when we are obese, we're twice as likely to have diabetes. And if we have diabetes, we're 4 times likely to have cancer. So weight is a big deal. We want your body mass index to be normal. You can Google that. You can find out what that is if you're a boy, if you're a girl. If you're a girl, I think it's your waist measurement needs to be smaller than 34 inches. If you're a man, I think your waist measurement needs to be smaller than 38 inches. That's what my memory is telling me, but you can Google it. It's just real easy. There is you can go on Google and do a body mass index calculator. You put your weight in, you put your height in, and boom, it tells you where you are. Don't cheat on your height or your weight. Be honest so that you get an honest answer, and then you can look at the chart and see where you are. So a lot of times when we are eating right and we're exercising properly and we're not losing the weight, it's toxicity. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I don't think I've told this on air before, but as I said, this year I wanted to lose a little bit of weight. And I eat well, and I detox my liver all the time, and I don't have the muffin top. I'm just a few pounds heavier than I want to be. And so I'm thinking, well, I'm eating well. What is the problem here? And so I got out my little app on my phone. I think I use MyFitnessPal. I think it's what I use. And I put in all my, what I ate for the day. And lo and behold, all the stuff that I ate was good, but I was ingesting about 3,000 calories a day. nobody's going to lose weight on 3,000 calories a day. And it was like, oh, I need to decide what I want to do here. Now, was I eating toxic food? No. Was I eating food that was processed? No. Was I eating things I was not supposed to eat? No. I was just eating too much of the good stuff, and nobody's going to lose weight at 3,000 calories a day. So I got down to about 1,800 calories a day doing the intermittent fasting, and the weight is just coming off. It's coming off in a very healthy way. I'm not hungry because my body's doing what it needs to do. I'm taking really, really good vitamins and all that kind of thing, and I'm doing really well. Now, if you do suspect that you are having the pregnenolone steal, that means that your cortisol is going to be elevated, and that means that you're going to be in fight or flight mode all the time. Your body cannot rest and repair when you are in fight or flight mode. So we want to get you out of that. Now, there are some tools that we can do. We can do brain tap, reach out to us. We can give you a series of free downloads, I guess is what you call it. They've revamped their website. Used to, I could give you a code and you would have 30 days for free. I don't know exactly what it is now because they just revamped everything, but reach out to the office if you need that. What that will do is it will reset your brain and get you out of that sympathetic dominance into parasympathetic dominance. We were designed to live in parasympathetic. We were designed to live in joy. We were designed to live in peace. We were designed to live in happiness. The way we live, the way most of us live, if we're not mindful, is we live stressed, we live fatigued, worn out, disgusted, no joy, all that kind of stuff. So all that's going to do is going to make you have cortisol issues. This is called cortisol, and it is my best friend because I tend to stay in sympathetic dominance. I deal with sick people all the time. We've had all kinds of issues, and I'm just going to tell you a secret. Guess what? I found another water leak today. So that is 4 water leaks or water things that we've had here in the clinic since July. That's way too many. 2 have been catastrophic. 1 was kind of there, okay? And then the one that I found today is just more of an annoyance than anything else. But good grief, we've ticked off the water god somewhere, and so we're just having all these issues. So life is stressful at times. And so this little baby helps turn down the cortisol so that you can relax and have a better attitude and you can sleep better and all that kind of thing. So we do have tools here in the clinic. If you need that help, we've got that for you. What we want to do is get your body metabolically to work the way it is supposed to, because when you are metabolically healthy, guess what? You don't have high cholesterol, you don't have high blood sugar, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have overweight. You're not overweight because your body is working the way it is supposed to. So any challenge health-wise that we have is at the root cause a metabolic issue. So when we reset our metabolic processes, then all that other stuff just disappears. And so this is why I absolutely love what we do, because we can take these challenges that we have, we can look at it from a different perspective. Remember, when I got on that scale when I was 50, it was like, I have no idea what I need to do. I need to get to the doctor and get on some diet pills, right? I was not where I am today as far as all of the, the iridology and the bioenergetic frequencing and the nutritional, I didn't have all those tools. I was just learning things, and so I just didn't have what I needed. However, through the years, I've learned all these things, and you can learn it too, and we can help you, and we're happy to do that. The next question that we had was, they wanted me to talk about degenerative arthritic disc diseases. That's a lot of words. Okay, so anything degenerative is a bad metabolic process. So what am I going to turn to? Meta. Anything that is degenerative. You are in stress mode. You have a very low pH if you are in stress mode. Now, pH is the acidity or alkalinity of your bodily fluids. To be healthy, to absorb your minerals, you need to be about a 6.4, 6.5. All right. Most people that come in with a urinalysis, their pH is about 5 or 5.5, which is way, 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 way too acidic. Why is that? Because you cannot absorb your minerals. Now, your body, remember, is a survival mechanism. So when your body knows that your pH is too low is acid. 7, you're going to remember this from your 4th grade health class. 7 is neutral. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Anything below 7 is acidic. All right. So optimal is 6.4 to 6.5 because that's when you absorb your minerals. If you are below that, then your body is going to pull calcium from your bones to neutralize the acid in your fluids. When that happens, the calcium gets stuck in the joint, and that's what makes arthritis. All right, so there's a lot of things to deal with here. pH, all right, can be weight. With degenerative disc disease, it can be a weight issue. Your spine is only so strong, and if you are very overweight, that pulls on that spine, and that can crush those. Just your body weight can crush that. You've got little gels between your discs. Those can become herniated. They can become squashed and spread out, herniated. They can dry up and go away. All of that is poor nutrition. There are herbs that we have here that go in and they do what they do with the nourishment that they have in them. And we've seen people with herniated discs and not crushed discs like in an accident, but where your discs are riding together because that gel is like depleted. We can actually plump those back up. Now, does it happen overnight? No, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes about 6 months for you to see some relief. But I remember working with a lady, and she had to do this for about 6 to 9 months. It wasn't overnight for sure, but she had bone spurs. Bone spurs are a result of stress, too high of an acid in your body. And what that does is it pulls the calcium from your bones, and you get like stalactites, right? That's what a bone spur is. And it's very, very painful. She had a hard time getting dressed. She had a hard time bending over. She just had a hard time. We put her on a protocol. We cleaned up the liver. We did a lot of things. And within about 9 months, she had all of her fluidity back. She could move the way she needed to move, and she was pain-free. And we did it just with good juicing and good herbs that went in there and just repaired those things. So a lot of times when we have degenerative issues, it's because of something that we are doing to ourselves. All right. I know nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody wants to do that. However, if we don't take responsibility for our bodies, we're not going to get any better. So if we are degenerating, why are we degenerating? What processes are we doing? Are we not eating properly? Are we not supplementing properly? Are we not resting properly? If you don't rest, your body does not have any time to recover, and we are supposed to rest, okay? Remember, parasympathetic dominance, not sympathetic dominance. We should be able to sit down, relax, take a good deep breath, do all those kind of things, and operate our life from a place of rest, not operate our life from a place of stress, all right? So when you've got degenerative issues, then you need to look inward and find out, what am I doing that I'm not in a place of rest and recovery? Because that's the way the body's designed. The body is designed to eat good food, drink good water, work good work, sleep good sleep, regenerate while you're sleeping, and then you get up the next day, everything's restored, and you just move on. When we've got degenerative issues, it's because of something else. It's something we didn't do that we knew we were supposed to. It can be trauma. It can be a car accident, a football accident. It can be that. It can be age. But I'm finding more and more that everything that is labeled age-related is nutrient-related, which is why we brought this scanner into the clinic. Now, why is that? Because this brand, Pharmanex, has its own vitamins that are guaranteed to be absorbed in the body, and they're guaranteed to shift your score on the scanner. And so I'm very skeptical. I don't believe everything somebody tells me because I've been around a lot, and I have to try it myself, and I have to make sure that it'll work for me, because if it'll work for me, then I know it'll work for you as well. And what I did find, I was eating right. I was taking very high-end supplements. However, I wasn't absorbing them. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I was taking digestive enzymes. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I was doing all the things, and I wasn't getting the results. I changed to the collagen, the Pharmanex collagen. I changed to their vitamins. And within 90 days, I was at the highest level. I was at optimum on my nutrient absorption. I know that if I want to look pretty, look young, act young, not go, deficit in the brain and that kind of thing, then I have to be absorbing all of my nutrients. If I'm going to escape a degenerative process, then my metabolic processes are going to have to stay in tune and in line with each other so that I can age gracefully and be able to do all the things that I need to do, right? So we need to understand that that is the design of the body. So when we have an injury of some sort, it may be an emotional injury, it may be a physical injury, it may be a spiritual injury, it may be something that we were born with. It's in the generations, right? Because this is inherited and this is inherited, whatever. You have the ability to change that through what you eat, the way you think, who you love, all those kind of things that we do have control over, and we're able to unravel that. And that is called the science of epigenetics. If you've never heard of that, if you think you're defined by your genes, I'm here to tell you your genes are a component for sure. But what you do with your nutrition will turn on good genes, it'll turn off bad genes. If you have bad nutrition, it will turn on bad genes and it will turn off your good genes. So what we eat has a huge, huge impact on how we live. And so if we're dealing with hormonal issues, if we're dealing with weight issues, if we're dealing with degenerative anything, then you're going to need to decide what you want to do, because we've got supplements to help you. I've shown you that. But the real thing that helps you is mindfulness in your brain, getting whatever mental trauma you have, whatever spiritual trauma you have, whatever emotional trauma you have, getting all that resolved, and making sure that you are eating the right thing and getting the right nutrition. Now, remember, we did some research, and the last numbers I could find, if you can find newer numbers than this, send them to this girl, because I'm looking for them and I haven't found them. But there were studies done in 2002, 23 years ago, right? 2002, that compared the nutritional value of food in 2002 to food from 1985, okay? So from 1985 to 2002, food had lost probably 70 to 75% of its nutritional value. All right. We are now 23 years further down the road. Do you think our food has increased in nutritional value? No. Why no? Because we have not changed our industrial farming practices, right? We still use chemicals. We still don't rotate the fields. We still don't let the earth rest and replenish. So our food is going to be even less nutrient dense than it was before, which is even more reason why we need to do the supplements that are guaranteed to work. And we know in 90 days, you're going to have a different score, which proves to you that it works. So you're not just wasting your money, and you're not just taking supplements, hoping, keeping your fingers crossed, it's going to work for you. So what do I want you to take away from this? Everything is within your control as regarding your health. You can learn to get out of stress. You can learn to manage your stress. You can get your liver functioning the way your liver needs to function so that you're making the hormones that you need to make. You can stop the pregnenolone steal, right? And you can stop degenerative processes by changing the way you live your life. So it's a lot of information. If you need clarification, if you have any other questions, pop them in the box. Thank you as always for watching. Thank you so much for sharing and commenting. As I told you before, Facebook loves it when we get likes and comments and shares because that tells them that what you've seen here today has value. We want it to have value. We know it has value because you ask these questions. And so we appreciate that, and we try and give you just tons of information in the 30-minute window that we have. So it is the weekend. What do I always tell you? Do something fun. Do self-care, love yourself, take care of yourself. We've got another week coming. We've got to be rested, recovered, rejuvenated, and doing all the good things so that we can have a good week next week and get all the things that we want to accomplish accomplished. So I'm going to say thank you again, and I will see you next week.